And here we are on Lake Cayuga, and we've got some lovely waves coming in because this is the wine boat. This goes along to these docks. We did this a couple days ago. I did some video of that, and we're here on Wires Point Road, Sheldrake Point, and I'm going to walk up and give a little bit of a tour to folks. That's the point right there, and we're going to walk onto the point and then around to the Silver Strand bed and breakfast. So we've got a dog very happily in the water. And as I said, that boat there, those folks are going to get off. There's a big winery sign, and then they're going to walk up here and go into the winery, which we did a couple days ago. And here's my lovely wife, allowing me to drag her along. Look at the lovely flowers. Lots of fun going on here. And like I said, we're going to end up on that point, and then we're going to walk on around. Bye-bye, dear. So you see if you walk around this bend for a couple of miles, there's beautiful houses right in the water. Some docks. I can see vineyards here. And part of the secret, apparently, of the wine here is that the water, which is very deep, absorbs temperature in the summer and makes it cooler in the summer because of the winter. And anyway, we're here at the Sheldrake Point Winery, which has lots of award-winning wines. So you go in there, you can take a taste testing for like $5. And this goes way up, according to the map. And so we're going to walk along here to the point. And this little community is called Sheldrake Point. And in fact, I've been reading about it. Look, Sheldrake Hitters and Wires Point, the history of a community. And then there's this, which was published in '62. And now look, we've got the map. So we're right about here. We're going to cross the creek, and then we're going to go out on the point. And we're staying right there, looking north. Very pleasant. And tell us about the fabulous weather, dear.
It has been, would you say 70s,
Yeah.
high 60s or 70s?
Yeah?
Sunny, no humidity, bliss.
And look, this
is my favorite winery, the Thirsty Owl.
The Thirsty Owl, okay. Well,
So
that's
beautiful.
about 4.1 miles. We actually measured that distance in case we want to walk it. And as I said, this is the Sheldrake Point. And this is lovely too. And anyway, these books are really interesting. And I could not reel off all the facts and figures, but you know, the first settlers showed up in the late 1700s, and sometime during the 1800s, this became a popular vacation spot. In fact, somewhere around here there was a multi-hundred room hotel that had electricity and a Russian violinist. It burned down in 1914, if I recall. Nobody was hurt. Anyway, I'll give you another shot. Very interesting to know which of these houses are original. I bet you that if that is original, or if there's portions of it, it's probably just in here. And we're coming up on the creek. And supposedly, if you walk up one of these creeks, I'm not sure if it's this one or the next one, you come to a falls. And there are some really gorgeous fallses up and down Seneca and Cayuga Lake. We'll look down. Creeks here are lovely and clear. A lot of, looks like slate rock. I believe I read someplace that this is one of the best trout fishing areas in the world. And there are trout, lake trout, in the lake that are down about 70, 80 feet. So, folks have put a lot of work into their yards here, lots of flowers. We're coming up on an intersection to the right. Will take us into a nice water view. Lots of gardening going on here. According to this history book, at this intersection, there was a country store here. I'm not sure which of these was it. One of these three. I think it was one of these two right here. This is Sheldrake Park Road. And we're going to cut to the right here to take a look at the water. And then we're going to come back out, and we're right around the corner up here. Lots of beautiful willows. We used to have a great willow on our property. The problem is they're very brittle. You often don't see large willows like this because the wind blows them over. Anyway, I don't know. Let's see. On this point here, I'm guesstimating a couple of dozen houses. I see 3 or 4 bed and breakfast signs. See the water straight ahead. There's a place to put your boat in. It's interesting how all the backyards kind of meld together. You can hear the birds and the crickets, the cicadas, if that's what they are, bugs. Yeah, I see a truck is backing up a boat trailer, which means there's a boat coming in. Maybe we'll get to watch it. Far shore that we are looking east. This is on Cayuga. Cayuga. We've got no hunting, no camping, but this appears to be kind of a shared space. See what's going on up here. Oh, here's the boat. Remember when we used to put boats in and out of the Mississippi River when I was growing up? We had a 36-foot houseboat, and then my uncle had a speedboat that was probably 50% longer. Let's see, we will walk around to the other side so we can get a nice view of the houses. You can see the guy winching the boat up. The water is nice and clear. And we are walking out to the point. Now, I'm not sure which point, whether this is a point or that's a point or that's a point or the whole thing is a point, but Sheldrake, Wires, Kidders, Seem to have been early families. Okay, not sure about, I don't see any signs that say you can't walk on this. All right, well, anyway, that's a nice little point there with about a 360-degree view. And we see boats. There goes the boat. And we see the water is pretty clear. So this was probably an old boathouse. Interesting. See all the timbers. Well, like I said, I didn't see any sign that you couldn't walk on this, but I do feel kind of an odd little spring. Don't know that I would have done that if I wasn't videoing. You can see more of the foundation here. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Okay. That point looks really neat. Kind of a beach. I see a little pebble beach out there. Okay. And tie my shoe. Cinema Verite. The director and actor in this spontaneously ties a shoe. Look at it up the hill. Lovely wind in the trees. And like I said, we're staying around the corner, right around that corner, so we've got to go this way, at the Silver Strand Inn, which is a wonderful experience. Skip and Maura Stamberger, incredible hosts, incredible nautical knowledge, boats, wine knowledge. Very pleasant. It's our second year here in the Finger Lakes. First year, you can hear I can hear a boat. Yep, look at it go. Whee! Looks fun. Right there. Heading out across the lake, I can make out a sailboat. There aren't many boats on this lake because the lake is 42 miles long, a couple miles wide at its widest. And it's not that dense of a population in it, of course. It'd cost a couple $100 to push a propeller boat here. And in a sailboat, well, it's the middle of the week, plus it's a ways to go. At both ends of the lake, most of these lakes, there's usually a small community. And I've seen hundreds of sailboats out on nice days and weekends. And let's see, there are 11 Finger Lakes. This is the longest by half a mile. We are walking west here, and I'd say about 10 miles in that direction is Lake Seneca, which is probably the most famous because the name Seneca. There's various conferences involving women getting the vote. The Seneca Conference. Some of the towns here are Ithaca, which is down there, 10, 15 miles, 20 miles. At Cornell University is there. Tremendous falls with an Indian name that starts with T that I am not going to embarrass myself because I still haven't figured out exactly how to pronounce it. And going the other way, Seneca, like I said, 5-10 miles in that direction, you get to Seneca Lake. North part of that, they have Geneva on the lake, and a wonderful place there called Belhurst Castle. It's now a winery and restaurant. Caution, winding road next 2 miles, no trucks. And this is very windy as you get up here. This, we didn't need this, because this is where it brings people to. This is the water to wine tours. Daily 5-hour winery by boat. Wino limo. Show you that. That's the boat we were on, the Isle of Skye. Winolimo.com. Phone number. And I have many pictures like that. Taken many pictures. And when we get up to the bend up here, we'll walk out on the dock from where the wine boat goes that we just saw at the beginning of this video. And then we'll turn around and walk inside, up to the room, look out over the balcony. And then if we've got more time left on the video, maybe we'll walk up around the bend. Kind of climbs, and so there's some nice views in between the trees. And I can begin to see Silver Strand here on the left through the trees. Incredible breakfast in the morning. Oh my gosh. We couldn't even describe how good they are. Kind of asparagus and omelets with kind of a nice creamy sauce. And there was sort of this huevos rancheros thing that was incredible. The lightest souffles and quiches. The secret apparently is lots of heavy cream, which I think is kind of ironic. And this house was originally the Harris house. It's in here, the descriptions of this house and pictures. And it is the Sheldrake Strand. Yep. There we go. And now we're gonna, there's the Driftwood Inn since 1946. Look at those wraparound balconies. And look at this view. We have this room right up here. Look at that. It's an 8-sided balcony. And the sleeping weather is 60s, low 60s. And this dock out here, we sit out here in the evening, watch the sunset right over there. This is facing about north right here. Let's go walk out there, dear. Yeah. Lots of neat infrastructure here. Look how nice this is. We've got kayaks, pedal boats. We've not taken advantage of that yet. Although, that's neat. That might be fun to go row in. You can see the sailboat out there. Okay, let's walk out. In fact, we'll go up here. We've not been up this yet. Super. See the kayakers right up there. I think we're looking at about 85 today. Last couple of days have been in the 70s. Every day the weather's been different. So anyway, we sit there The boat we saw earlier, Isle of Skye, was parked right there. And then I went around that point, and then they'll stay there an hour, and then it will cross over down in that direction. By the way, we can see a paddle border right there. And Thirsty Owl, they'll come down and get you for lunch. They're always busy, so get your order in early. And then we cross over there to Long Point State Park, straight ahead. And then we're met, and we went up to Long Point. And I'll stick some still photos into this video as we go along. And now we're going to walk. I think we're going to walk out there briefly, and then we're going to walk up into the room. And then I'll leave you behind so that you can read. And I'm going to walk on up around the bend. Okay.
Is there any possibility of me staying here?
Anyway. Absolutely, dear. Please hang out. And here we are, looking out. Howdy.
Hey.
Oh, this is
Oh, you can go. I mean, it's just scrape, so it's
okay. All right. Okie doke. Always a lot of upkeep in these old houses. Isn't this neat? Finger Lakes. We are right there on that point. Up the stairs. And our room is a mess of unpacked clothes. So I'm going to do that until we get out here. Is this cool or what? So this is our balcony. And Diana is sitting right down there. Very pleasant. And I think next year we're hoping to be in that room. I think that's what Diana said. Okay, I'm going to continue on up the bend. And, oh, hey, they made up the room. Fantastic. Looks great. That's Coco. Coco is a stuffed bunny. And love the bedboard. Super duper. Instructions here. They'll leave coffee by the door in the morning. And down we go. Check out the chandelier. Yeah. Down we go. Love these neat old spiral staircases. We have incredible coffee and crumb cake here in the morning, and all kinds of fruits. And now I'm going to continue up the road. Super. Yeah. Okay. This tree is over 200 years old. Just think of the things it's seen. A few boats. Oh, see if he's going to slow down or not. See the paddleboarder out there, right there. Going to be interesting to see. He's already rocking the paddleboard, getting ready to. Well, makes me watching to see if the boat wave puts the paddleboarder in the drink. See my wife out here. Interesting. They're already rocking the. You can see right there. Yay! Oh, 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 oh. Their arms are out. Oh, sorry. Went in. I'll see if I can blow that part up. You can see the waves coming in here from the boat. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't think I can zoom in. Alrighty. Oh, that was interesting. They have such cool boathouses. This place right here has a deck on the water. And we can see some nice houses. Yeah, it feels about 80. We're looking north here. It's about 3 miles across at an angle. Oh, here's a sailboat going out. See it down through the branches. Yeah. Hang out here for a second. Butterflies. Yeah. I'm guessing that's a sunfish, because there's a sunfish on the sail. Hear the crickets? So we got the sailboat, paddle board, and they're just about to get back on. They're standing up. All's well that ends well. Right down there is my wife, and that boat right there, Skip takes around to pick up people and to drop them off for the wine tour. Super. And love these old houses. Ah, the breeze feels good. Kind of a neat way to put your address. Longview Guest House. See, there's quite elaborate. I've seen some of these places further along here have something like this. It's like 4 or 5 stories and includes an elevator, an incline for moving stuff. And we're getting to a nice view. Okay, now we can see sailboat, paddle boat, and paddleboard all in one shot there. Hello. A wonderful porch. Big wraparound porches here. Yeah, here's an example of what I was talking about. This is a seat and a winch. So this is a way to get down to the water while you're sitting right there. Balcony up on top. Ah, look at that. Windows there in the dining room, perhaps to get this morning sun. And we are walking uphill, so you'll notice that we're not seeing docks. We're seeing basically cliffs off to the right and stairs. Look at these nice chairs. And at night you can have a fire right there, looking out over the water. Yeah. Not all the houses here are ginormous. This one looks like it was sort of built a chunk at the time. Add-ons. Huh, cool. You can actually, probably not on the video, but I can actually see down to the lake floor. This looks about maybe 6 or 7 feet there. And I think I'm going to make it up to the bridge. and decide what. Supposedly, if you walk up some of these creeks, you end up at some falls. I'm not going to try that. If you look behind these houses, I can see fields, agriculture, produce of various sorts. 20-ton bridge, which I guess means not that the bridge weighs 20 tons, but that's the maximum weight it can support, which I think is a pretty big load. And we will pause, look down into the water. As I said, I actually did sort of study up, but I'm not a font of wisdom. Let the cars go by. Yeah, and this is one of those bridges that you can see down through, which is kind of creepy. Okay. So, interesting. I don't actually see. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's a little bit of a creek there. And you can see a gorge. Looks like about 20 foot down, goes up around the corner. Yeah. That's the bottom of it. Okay, we got more views. Okay, renovation. Yeah. Power boats pulling people on inner tubes. Sailboat out in the middle. You can see the docks down below. But it's about 40-50 foot drop. I can hear the kids screaming in enjoyment. Hey, coming in this way. Huh. Doing figure eights. So that people go flying over previous wakes. Yeah, here's an old Airstream. Yeah, about looks like 20 foot, 22 maybe. Huh. Looks like an old Jeep Wagoneer truck. Sailboat. You can see we're considerably higher now. I do see a little bit of a pebble beach down there. And here we can see the trees getting a bit more looming. Look at the cabin up there, looking out between the trees. Obviously, they took these trees out to improve their view, and we can see where we're staying. So if you look down there, you'll see a pier or a dock that has a aquamarine boat on the end, and then to the right we see the boathouse that we passed on, and just to the left of it we can see through the trees. Now we're heading up into Dappled. Now this is kind of unusual. See this point that sticks out here? It's low and you can build houses on it. Most of the roads around most of these lakes are like this. That is, they're kind of not into the hillside, and you're surrounded by trees. And often you look to your right in this case, and you'll just see the roofs of houses because they are down the hill and kind of built into it. And this, you really do feel like you're in the woods here. Really dappled. I can hear a boat, but I can't see it. Well, I can see it, but you probably can't see it. See if we can get to an open. And right there. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah. It's the middle 80s. It feels good to be in the shade. The water is clear and kind of green because of the vegetation. Kind of reminds me of Key West. Of course, you're not on an elevation like this, except maybe if you're looking out of the fourth story of a hotel on the water. Anyway, here's another grand old house with a wraparound terrace. And we are closing in on the 45-minute mark, which is about when I wrap up videos, because that's about the length of my battery. Kind of a barn slash garage. I can smell some beautiful flowers. Red, white, and blue plastic lawn chairs, just like we have back on the Brigham Farm in front of the country store in Illinois. But isn't that a pretty lawn? Over on the left here, there's a lighthouse. Let's see what's going on out here. Oh, there's the boat again, pulling the kids on inner tubes, and I can hear them shrieking. So, well, we're almost to the end here, I think, and then it cuts up to Route 89. So I think I'll just take one more look here out at the boats, kids having fun. There's a sailboat out to the left. Anyway, having a wonderful time here in the Finger Lakes on Cayuga Lake. And this was my little video tour of the neighborhood. Started down there at the Sheldrake wine vineyard and walked through Wires Point, Sheldrake Point. Saw them taking a boat out of the water. Walked on up to the Silver Strand, walked in, looked out of the balcony, Explored the dock there, very elaborate infrastructure. Lovely to sit on in the evening. And then we came up this elevation, which I think is more representative of most of the Finger Lakes. And it is this is our last day here, and it's been a wonderful vacation, and I look forward to uploading this to YouTube and tweeting it out. Bye-bye.